Mike McCool here from the Royal Examiner. I am at Chester Gap Fire Department today, and I tell you, I have Todd Brown with us. He's the fire chief here. But I was going to tell you, Todd, when I pulled up here, you got a lot of equipment.
Yes, we do.
Here.
Yes, we
so
do.
There's been some stories run in the Royal Examiner. We did one. Jerry Matico and Chief Bonzano talked about refunding some of the money that's coming up here to Chester Gap. So Todd wants to get his side of the story out, and we're going to talk about how we got where we're at and where we need to go in the future. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Chester Gap Fire Department, the areas, a lot of people in Warren County don't even, they heard the name Chester Gap,
right,
but they think that's on the other side of the mountain.
Right. Yeah, we're located physically in Rappahannock County, but we are just minutes from Warren County.
You can spit into Warren County.
When you turn in off of 522, the first 4 or 5 houses is actually in Warren County.
Right.
We also have a subdivision up here off of Chester Gap Road that has 5 houses, I think, in it. That's also in Warren County. So we are very close to Warren County. We're only a mile and a half from 2 miles to 2 of the biggest subdivisions in Warren County.
Right.
Lakefront Royal, actually 3 subdivisions, Lakefront Royal, Point of Woods, and First Blue Ridge Mountain Estates.
Right. And you're far from Rappahannock County.
Right, yes, sir.
Royal's your closest place.
Right. I mean, we're very close to them. We run, several calls into Warren County. We have an area that goes all the way down to Harmony Hollow. We cover the 4-H Center. We cover U.S. Customs. We cover the Conservation Center. So we do have a heavy populated area that we do serve. Yeah. Not a whole lot of square miles, but a lot of population.
Sure. I was looking at your call report. Just look at that thing real quick. Let's go over how many calls that you run here. This is a small little place, but you ran quite a few calls.
Yes, sir. Last year we ran a total of 565 calls. 336 of those was in Warren County.
So you're running more in Warren County than you do in
Yes.
Rappahannock.
We're running about 60% in Warren County. That number has pretty much stayed pretty constant for the past 5-6 years. It hasn't varied much. It might, it'll vary just a little bit maybe, but it's usually, we run 60% in Warren County.
Right.
We ran 224 in Rappahannock and 5 calls in Fauquier County.
Yeah.
Because Fauquier's right here at the bottom of the mountain also.
Right. Let's say if you didn't run those 385 or 336 calls, who would?
Well, this area is covered, and that's one thing a lot of people don't realize. All of Chester Gap, Front Royal Fire Department Station 1, this is their second due.
Okay.
Not somebody coming from Rappahannock.
Right.
This is people coming, the departments from Warren County. This is their second due. Flint Hill comes in up here as third due, and I think either Rivermont or Linden, I can't remember which it is. I think it's one or the other.
They're pretty much equal distance.
Yeah, it comes in fourth due. So a lot of the Warren County companies are due in our area.
Yeah.
Front Royal, like I say, they're third due all the way down to Huntley.
Right.
So if we wasn't doing this means that it would be more of a burden on Front Royal.
Right.
That it's, as everybody knows, they're stressed out to the max as it is.
Every fire department is really in the same boat as you and everywhere else. So what's the summary of what is planned? What's Warren County trying to do? Can you kind of give us a summary of what the idea is?
And that's what with the meeting that they had last week, the article that you done, we didn't really know anything about it until I read your article. So
we're always on top of it.
Right, yeah. We didn't really know that this was coming down the path, and I had spoken with the fire administration in Warren and was told that it was in the budget to fund the paid staff at Chester Gap. And what we usually do is around December, January, Rappahannock County and Warren would sit down here and we would have a meeting. It would be the chairman of the board from Warren, chairman of the board from Rappahannock, the county administrators from both sides, and Chief Bonzano and Jerry, and we would sit down and discuss any issues or any problems with the budget. And this year we haven't had that meeting, so we just assume that
Everything's hunky-dory.
everything's fine.
Yeah.
And we had a meeting yesterday with the county administrator from Rappahannock, and he told us the same thing. He said, well, I had met and spoken with the county administrator in Warren, and he told me that it was in the budget and that there was not going to be any increase, which we haven't asked for an increase, and that it was a done deal. So as you can imagine, we were shocked when we read your article, and to be honest with you, I have not watched the video, but I'm going off of what you printed.
Well, I hope not. So why don't you introduce your staff you have here?
This is Kevin Williams. He is our liaison officer, and this is Lieutenant Chris Fulton.
And these are both volunteers?
Yes, both are volunteers. Kevin has a fire department background. He started off here as a junior. He went on to be a paid firefighter for the federal government, and he retired from that job as assistant chief. So he's very well versed in fire and rescue. And Chris is just getting his feet wet good. He's ex-military, and he's diving in and doing a real good job so far.
Okay.
So we hope to keep going. And that's the other thing that I kind of want to touch real quick on is the volunteerism. It has, I've been doing this. I've been a member here for over 40 years. I've been in fire and rescue for over 50 years, and I've always seen the volunteers come and go. I've seen it, I've seen it to where we've had 50 members here at a meeting. I've seen it to where we've had 2 or 3, and it's always rebound. But the world that we're living in right now after COVID is really taking a beating on the volunteers.
Every organization has lost
Absolutely.
people.
And
People.
it's really been tough on us because I've never seen it not rebound, and I'm sure they can tell you the same thing, not rebound like it used to. Another thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is the businesses don't support the volunteers anymore. When I came up, I'm originally from Culpeper, but when I came up, in the fire service, starting off in Culpeper Fire Department as a junior, I worked at A&P,
Right.
and if there was a working fire somewhere, they would say, "Well, what are you doing here? Get out of here!" And
it changed a lot.
right, and it has.
I think the public thinks everyone's paid.
Right, and they do, and that's what people don't realize. The businesses don't support it anymore. We have a gentleman that works at a place in Winchester, and it used to be before COVID. If we were out on a working fire that night, and we got back in here at 6 o'clock, he'd call work and say, "Hey, I'll be in at 12," and it was no problem.
Right.
Now, if he does that, well, you need to look for another job.
Yeah.
So things have really changed, and I think that's what's really hurt us, and that's why we heavily rely on the paid staff. Sure. And Warren County and Rappahannock both are getting a really good deal by sharing the expense, and I know some of the people don't like the fact that these people are paid contractors.
Right.
They're covered under the county's workman's comp, which Warren County pays their part, Rappahannock pays their part. So, they're covered under workman's comp, but other than that, they really don't have any benefits because they're their own contractors.
Sure.
They provide us, or me, the days and times and, that they're available, and that's how we fill the schedule.
Right.
We don't tell them, "Hey, you have to be here tomorrow at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock."
Right.
but it's other places in the state, Southern Virginia, they use the contracts,
Right.
contract laborers, and it saves a lot of money.
Yeah. Well,
So-
it's, when you hire, especially a government employee, you got a lot of benefits, you got retirement,
Right.
but at the same time, and your social security costs and expenses. And I know we use contractors, and the contractors sometimes, you actually pay them more because
Sure.
you got 25% of their salary you're not paying.
Exactly.
That they have to pay, so it's
Yep.
still a cost.
Yep.
Whether you
Exactly.
have, but you don't have that long-term commitment with the
Right.
contractor like you do with
But
an
I mean,
employee.
we have been very fortunate. All of the paid staff here, like I say, we have a paramedic on. All the paramedics are dual. They're paramedic
That helps.
firefighters. All of the EMTs that drive, all of those are firefighters, with the exception of one. She's working on getting her firefighter. So we have a real good group that work here. We actually have a lot of the paid personnel from Warren County that works here part time.
Yeah.
So it's not like they don't know the system, and it's been my knowledge, we haven't had any issues, we haven't had any problems. It hasn't been that we've had problems where they're not
Right.
performing their duties or not doing
Calls
their
got
job.
answered,
So-
fires got put out, right?
Right, absolutely. And I mean, we've delivered babies from Lakefront Royal, and
Yeah.
we have had some pretty good, cardiac calls where they've done a great job and actually saved lives. And I'll say this, 100 times over: everything that we have done and everything that I have done to put this into play has been for the citizens. This don't benefit Chester Gap Fire Department, not one penny. And actually, we have put $80,000 into the program.
Sure.
But everything here that we've done has been for the citizens.
Right.
And and I've stressed that. Everybody that works here knows that they treat people right, and they do a good job, or they're not going to work here. So.
Well, let's move over here, and why don't you give us your input on what's happening and how it affects what you do here?
Well, so I don't want to repeat some of the stuff
Sure.
Chief Brown said, but of course I've been here for going on 35 years as a member here. I started in 1990 as a junior member, August 1st, 1990, and volunteered here ever since then. That whole time frame that I've been here, we've always had a great workmanship with Warren County Fire and Rescue and Warren County itself. Because, as Chief Brown mentioned, 60% of our calls have always been ran over there. So we've always kind of favored that area a little bit more than everything because we're always responding more over there. Our area in Rappahannock County, a lot of people always joke around that there's more cows in Rappahannock County than there is people.
That's true.
So you can only imagine our first new area going down in Rappahannock only goes so many miles before Flint Hill kicks in. And within that area, a lot of it is farmland once you get off the mountain.
Yeah.
So
And it's a distance to go. I mean,
So a lot of our responses, again, are in Warren County. So when this comes in, when COVID hit and Chief Brown put this in place, the program has paid for itself. The program has proven to save lives. The thing that gets me is we always try to be transparent here as much as possible. That's one thing Chief Brown has driven in with us as far as working with Rappahannock and Warren County. We need to be transparent, let the citizens know what we're doing and all that. And like you said, a lot of citizens moving in now where they're coming from the city, they don't know it's volunteer still. They think it's all career and
Right.
everything. But we've always had a good working relationship. But going back to the article that you posted and everything, we started back in December asking for meetings with Warren County to discuss moving forward and everything. When Rappahannock starts doing their budget session, that's when we start reaching out to Warren County for that. Never had a meeting set up or anything. As Chief Brown said, as time got closer, we were told the money's there, same amount and everything, moving forward. And then all of a sudden, boom, we see this article comes out to where they're at the, we didn't even get a call to say anything was going to be on the agenda that night for Chester Gap and everything from Warren County Fire and Rescue. So you can imagine the shock to all the members here when we see that and it comes out. The first thing we're thinking is like, what the heck? What's going on here? Our phones start blowing up with citizens wondering what's going on. We don't have no answers for them, so we're trying to figure it out ourselves. But the one thing that I want to point out is we kind of went through the same thing back in May of 2016. Before May of 2016, we were always listed as a Warren County fire company in Warren County, even though where we're sitting at. In May of 2016, and it's kind of a coincidence because now here we are almost in May, budget cycle, and so you can kind of see a coincidence there.
It's always the money.
May of 2016, there was a meeting held to where Chester Gap wasn't aware of it, wasn't advised of it. If you go back and look at Norman Virginia Daily, back at that time frame, May of 2016, I can't remember the date, but we could probably get it. Kind of the same thing happened where something was brought up at the meeting as far as Chester Gap, removing them, changing the ordinance, taking them off of being a Warren County company and making them being a mutual aid company and all. When that happened in that article, it basically says in there, oh, no one showed up to speak against this. It passed by the board and everything. The reason no one spoke up against that, again, nobody knew about it. Nobody knew it was happening, so wasn't nobody there to do it. So here we are again, a couple years later. It's kind of the same thing that happened back then, but it's on a different spectrum, dealing with what we have in place.
So how much money are we talking about that typically that you get each year?
So basically what happens is, like I say, for the past years since I've been here, we've always got a lump sum of money from Warren County. It usually, average, I would say, is probably $50,000. Just use that for an average because I don't know the exact number off the top of my head. We used to always get that from Warren County to pay toward our expenses for running calls into Warren County and all, because what used to happen in Rappahannock County, they have a fire levy committee over there that reviews all your bills and everything. So when we turned our bills into Rappahannock at the time, they would look at the percentage of calls we ran in Warren County, and if we were turning in for $60,000 and we ran 60% of our calls in Warren County, then they would take that percentage out of that money of what we were asking to be reimbursed because those calls were in Warren County. So you can see if you were asking for $60,000, you take that percentage off there, it's a big reduction. Yeah. And,
I look at that, at 336 calls, what's that, $15 a call?
Yeah, and that you can't really put a dollar figure on a call because you don't know how many pieces of apparatus you're going to have, or how long you're going to be on the scene.
But that's how much you're getting paid.
Right.
$10 or $15.
So basically when that started happening, so we were getting money from Warren County, and that would help offset what we were getting from Rappahannock County. So for all the years we were getting that money from them, and then when this went into play, they started help pay towards staffing up here and everything. But we still got that lump sum from them to help pay for expenses. After probably 4 or 5 years ago, Rappahannock changed it to, we went to Rappahannock, we argued, like, look, it's hurting us if you putting this percentage on us, capping our funds and everything, because we're not getting enough money from Warren County to recoup the cost of what it's costing us to operate. So they agreed to pay everybody at 100% operation cost. So right now, Rappahannock County pays 100% of our operation cost, only operation cost for what we turn into them. That's even including the fuel. These vehicles racing and running up down the roads in Warren County for calls and all that. They're covering all that maintenance and everything. So you can imagine citizens in Rappahannock, when they hear that, like, hey, 60% of your time is in Warren County. So we're always up against this roadblock when budget season comes in Rappahannock County, and then Warren County, we just don't get told about it. We don't know when it comes. So they pay 100%. We still get that lump sum from Warren County, which is basically might as well say $45,000. It's $44,698 is the lump sum that we get from them. And basically what we used to always use that for capital expenses, because Rappahannock would pay 100% of the operation costs. Now, since we started this program here, Warren County, basically based off the figures for 25, they paid toward the staffing $175,200, and that's what they were paying toward it. Rappahannock County paid $168,192. So Rappahannock agreed to pay additional, added another $50-some thousand to it to help get our providers up to $30 an hour, our medics. The only thing I want to point out is, in the article and watching the video, it was mentioned in there that Chester Gap was requesting Warren County to pay $30 an hour. Chester Gap has never made that request. Chester Gap has never sat down with Warren County to even discuss. Once we were told, hey, it's in the budget, you're good to go and everything, there's no need for a meeting, okay, well, we're not going to ask for a meeting no more. So one thing I want to point out is Chester Gap has never asked Warren County to pay $30 an hour for our medics up here. I've been in the business long enough, and you know an organization is not going to pay more than what they would pay their current and part-time employees.
Right.
I mean, that's basic common sense of business. And so we knew they're not going to pay that. We never asked for that, and so I don't know where that's coming from, that we were asking for that amount. And honestly, we didn't even ask for an increase and all. We were just basically going off of, hey, the money's there and everything. Operating out of this program, like Chief Brown said, over the past couple years while this program's been operating, we had been using our EMS cost recovery money. Warren County talks about they could use that EMS cost recovery money to better suit other areas. EMS cost recovery, we average $55,000, $60,000 maybe on EMS cost recovery, and that's the high end. You take that amount and you do the 60-40 split, and you only come up with probably about $30,000 for Warren County. So that's what they would be gaining, is $30,000 if they took over the EMS cost recovery.
Somewhere they talked about hiring three ALS members, is that right? 3?
Yeah.
So in the article, it mentioned that they were looking to, that they feel that this would be better suited, that Company 1, to hire 3 more people. I would love to see the numbers to where they're going to be able to hire 3 more people, including their benefits, salary, uniforms, everything that comes along with it and all, for the cost of the $175,000 that they're paying us for staffing.
So for the 300 and some calls, they would have to basically send somebody from Company 1 to
Yes.
Chester Gap.
Yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
And
But
that's
on the other side of that, you all send people into Front Royal.
Yes, we run all of Warren County. Anytime, if we're, one thing about Chester Gap, and one thing Chief Brown has taught us, because we sit here in Chester Gap, we sit at what I call a focal point. If you go down the road right here, the point meets where Fauquier County, Warren County, and Rappahannock County meets. One thing that's been driven into us over the years is we don't look at the county lines. If we're dispatched, we're going to go. We're not Warren County, Rappahannock County, Fauquier County. It doesn't make no difference. But we always hit this hurdle when it comes budget time, where you have the citizens in Rappahannock, which is rightly so, saying, hey, we're paying 100% of your operation cost, and you're running 60% of your calls in Warren. And then we went to this program, and you had the document Chief Brown provided
Right.
showing the figures of how it's supposed to be broken up between the counties. This program has proven to save lives. It has proven to help with response times within the area. I mean, like we were talking, we cover from here all the way to Harmony Hollow, but we also have second due, third due, and all that in Warren County. If it's a major fire, our department is dispatched for the tanker. If it's a major incident, I'll go back to that Sunday where they had all those technical rescues going on in the county, and Chief Matico was talking about how the resources were stretched thin. They had to do a recall of volunteers and everything to come in. One thing about that day is Medic 9 was sitting here, staffed, ready to go if needed to protect the citizens in Warren County. Luckily, knock on wood, they didn't have to be called out. There wasn't nothing else like that. But they were here, staffed, ready to go to respond if needed. So that was a resource that day that helped fill in when Warren County was at its
When
its
you're
max.
on the one side of the county, we're going to help cover the other side of the county.
Right.
Yeah.
So just imagine if we do away with this program and you have that Sunday reoccur again and you're maxed at your resources and everything, you wouldn't have had no coverage at all, no matter what end of the county it was. The biggest thing that gets us right now is the transparency. Is, like I say, if you go back and look at that article back in May of 2016 in Northern Virginia Daily, you're going to see in there, and we wasn't aware of that. Here we are again, close to May, a couple years later, and the same thing happens to where we're not told, we just all of a sudden get hit with it. And the worst time is right at budget time when Rappahannock is getting ready to wrap up their budget and Warren County is getting ready to wrap their budget to throw this out here. So we're still standing here are sitting here right now wondering,
Like in limbo.
where are we going to go? What's going to happen?
Right.
We don't know what to tell our citizens in the area. Chief Brown has been getting numerous phone calls ever since the article went out. He's had conversations with the assistant chief in Warren County, and I think his phone's been ringing off the hook in regards to it and everything, because citizens are concerned what's going to happen here. Again, the program has proven to work. It has saved lives, and for the cost that this program is costing versus adding more full-time staffing and everything,
Sure.
You can't beat it.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of other chiefs in other counties that I've spoken with, and they're like, you can't beat what's in place.
Why are we breaking something that's not broken?
Right.
Right. So,
Well, transparency is a big thing, and you're hearing it for a lot of things in the county. You guys aren't the only ones. We want transparency, but yet sometimes the people asking for it aren't giving it. So, I mean,
but the one thing I want to point out is Chester Gap is not asking Warren County to pay $30 an hour, because we were trying to find out what they actually paid part-time, and we never could get that number, so we could kind of do our budget and everything. But I finally was able to locate that and get the actual number, what they pay their part-time people. And like I say, we know they're not going to pay over that amount. So where it's coming from that we were asking for them to pay $30,000, we have no.
Yeah.
And when you don't have the communication like we're doing right now, sitting down at the table to be able to ask those questions, this is when you get all these different things swirling as far as what's being asked
Sure.
for and stuff like that. And
it's not that far, just a couple minutes up the road.
Right.
So where do we want to go from here? What are you expecting now?
Well, I mean, we still, we want to sit down with, with the two counties together,
Sure.
and I think we can hopefully work this out. We don't have the EMS staff to support doing it as a volunteers.
Right.
We just do not have it. I don't like to say.
Well, and it's true. Warren County doesn't have it.
No, and it's like I say, the volunteers are so hard to. I've only got 2 EMTs right now, and both of them work.
And I don't think people realize what it takes to become a volunteer.
Oh my God, yes.
Hundreds of hours of training.
Hundreds of
hours now.
that's continuing to increase. Years ago, it was a lot of hours, but nowadays, a lot of people have to travel
Someone
out
told me
of
it's like
county to work.
300 hours or something.
Oh, it's
Yeah, so in
Plus.
our area, right here in Chester Gap, we do have a younger community, somewhat. But the thing of it is, everybody that lives in this community has to travel to work.
Yep.
So if you're traveling to Northern Virginia to work every day, by the time you get home in the evenings, you're not bothered about going out here running all the calls, taking
3
away
o'clock
from
in the
your
morning,
family
yeah.
and all. But the ones that are volunteering, that they have agreed to
And
they
that's-
do that. And
That's one of the things that really, is hitting home with us is, the subdivisions are continue to build. We ran
Sure.
a call in Point of Woods the other day, and I turned and went down the road, and there was 2 new houses, and I'm like,
That's right.
where'd they come from?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I mean, and it's the same thing in Chester Gap. They're building up here everywhere,
Yeah.
and the 4 houses or whatever it is that's off the road up here, off of Chester Gap Road, it's physically in Warren County. That's a new subdivision, and there's talk of expanding that, and so it's a lot of population that relies on fast and good care. And like I say, that's the main goal for us, is to make sure the citizens are getting what they need. Time is against us on any type of call, whether it be a fire call, an EMS call, no matter what it is, time is not our friend. And, if somebody's having a heart attack, they don't want to wait and have the bad luck, if you want to call it, of Front Royal being on their 3rd call backed up and have to wait for a unit to come all the way from the north end of the county,
Sure.
that's going to take 20 minutes. It's just not a good deal for the citizens. And with this program, I mean, it's proven to work. I mean, I fully understand, fire administrations wanting to have more control over it, if you want to
Sure.
go down that way. But it's, they have input. Like I say, we're totally transparent here. If they want to look at anything or, talk to any of the personnel or anything, the door's open. And that's the way it is. But we're in a unique spot. We
like what he said. You're a focus point.
Oh, it is, and it's crazy.
It's all downhill.
Right, it's all downhill, and I mean we're only 5 minutes from town.
Right.
And I mean we can be on South Street long before Bentonville can.
Sure.
And I mean, and actually, if we're dispatched at the same time, we can be on South Street and that whole area. Before North Warren.
Sure,
I mean, we're just closer. It's all downhill. We don't have the red lights and the traffic to deal with.
Yep.
So it is a quick response. And like I say, we've never really had too much issue with it being, okay, well, we're on a call in Rappahannock, so now we're missing a call in Warren. Thank God that has not happened. It's always been a pretty good response. I can't remember of any calls that we're not available because we're in another county. So we try to provide the best that we can do, best equipment. Our equipment, we go out and take a look, but our equipment is older, but it's very well maintained. We take care of everything, and we bring a lot to the table.
Sure.
We have a rescue engine that's fully equipped for heavy rescue. We have the one serve unit out there, which we'll go out and look. It's set up for bad weather, for snow. It's set up for high water rescue. So we bring a lot to the table.
Right.
And it's always there. We've never turned our back on Warren County. They've used one of our pumpers time and two when they get in a pinch and need equipment. We've never said no. We've always been there for Warren County, and
we have their backup ambulance.
Yeah, so it's
Well, I tell you what, a lot of things. All we hope for is you're going to get a meeting with Warren County,
yes.
sit down and work all this out, which I'm
Right.
sure it'll happen.
Yeah.
So we'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And
And like I say, we're no means, no how trying to,
no strong,
discredit
no strong arm.
No,
right?
no, not what they've done, but
Okay.
we were blindsided.
Yeah.
And we.
Well, I think we'll get that message out, don't
Right.
you think?
That's
Well, I
the
tell
biggest
you,
thing we
I
wanna
think,
get out.
yeah, I think what we should do is take a look at some of the
Okay.
equipment you
We can.
have. I think people would be interested
Oh,
just to
absolutely.
kind of see what you have
Absolutely.
and what you all have up here, because
Yep.
there's a lot.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, Mark, we're going to head outside and we're going to take a look at that. All right? Thank you. Okay, now we're standing out here in front of the garage, and we got some equipment around us here. We got Chris is going to tell us a little bit about the equipment we have here. Just tell us what this truck is.
So
Mark,
here we have our rescue engine, which is our apparatus that we use for fighting fire and also for vehicle extrication.
Okay. And we have another good-sized truck behind you.
Behind this is one of our attack engine. This is what we use to pump. So in our various sites that we have throughout the county, like Lakefront Oil, for example, we can drive this apparatus right up to the lake, connect it to it, and pump water, and use that to send it to fire trucks as they're coming in during our
And
operations.
you can actually load up like a tanker.
Yep. As our tankers pull up, we run lines to them. They fill them full, and they send them right back to the fire.
Yeah. Okay. 'Cause that's a lot of equipment. What's these things cost? Chief, do you know? They cost a lot. And what's the year? How old is this equipment?
This is 2000.
Okay.
We bought this. We bought this used. Our other rescue engine we had, the motor blew up, and it was going to cost us somewhere in the neighborhood of about $65,000 just to
Sure, it's a
redo
lot.
the motor. And that truck was a 1992, so it just was not feasible to do that. So we bought this truck out of Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Only had 17,000 miles on it.
Okay.
So we got a real good deal on it. We went through it and just about rehabbed the whole truck. We, had it painted, upgraded all the lighting, wheels, tires. I mean, we done a lot to it.
Yeah.
This thing is equipped with hydraulic rescue tools, the Hearst tools, and I got a grant last year, and we got new battery powered tools. We
Right,
can go
right.
here and see
walk
those.
this way, Mark.
Those are. They were about. It was a $45,000 grant that I had
That looks
gotten.
like the jaws of life.
Jaws of Life, and those are the latest and the greatest. Those are the latest
you
that
get into a
Hurst.
vehicle accident or something,
Yep.
and you got to get into a vehicle.
Yep.
There's nothing, and time is. I think that's what we're all
Seconds.
against. Time.
Yep.
Right. You can always beat it open long enough if you get enough
Right.
time. But it's great here. So now,
Now this piece is kind of a specialty piece also. This is a 4-wheel drive pumper. It's actually a 1,000-gallon per minute pump.
Wow.
It's front mount, and the reason it's front mount is it makes it easier for us to access water sources for drafting.
Sure.
This thing carries 1,800 feet of 5-inch hose.
Wow.
Normally, everybody carries 4-inch. These other two pumpers have 4-inch hose on it.
Right.
But this one, because it is a water supply piece, we carry 5-inch.
yeah, that's amazing. People think, oh, it's not that big.
Oh,
That-
yeah, it
but
is.
go to 4-inch to 5-inch.
Yes.
That's a huge amount
And
of
huge
difference.
amount of weight to have to put back on the truck.
Well, but a lot more water comes out of it. Yeah.
When they had the warehouse fire down on, I can't remember the name of the street now. Where was that at? Down by the VFW hall.
Right,
They had
right,
the warehouse
right.
fire. This truck actually sit on the Shenandoah River and pumped for about 18 hours, supplying the ladder trucks.
Wow.
So, but it's a really unique piece. Like I say, it's fully equipped. It has the same capability as a regular pumper. We do carry Hurst tools on this also,
Sure.
because we run this when we have bad weather, when we have snow, and so it is equipped to do dual purpose operations. So it's kind of a unique piece. This truck here is our main engine. This is what would go out first on any house fire. This is what runs into town if we have a call in town. So this is the main engine. This is a 1998, and so
It
like
looks
I
brand
say-
new.
Well, yeah. Well, as we'll say, we
Wax on, wax off. That's what-
pretty much we try to keep things maintained very well
Yeah.
and keep things in order. We try to keep all the equipment updated. The equipment's on the truck,
Yeah.
but it does very well. We can move over to the tanker.
Yeah. Okay, Chris, a real question real quick with you. Who does maintenance on these things? Where do you take it to get the oil changed?
So it depends. You usually don't take it somewhere. We have an independent contractor that comes and
does it here?
Does maintenance with. But for the day to day, we go through and we nitpick the trucks and find everything that's wrong with them, keep them looking nice, and keep them in service.
Yeah. I was wondering because these are specialty vehicles.
Oh yeah,
Not something you can take down to Jiffy Lube and get it done.
absolutely.
Now, let's walk around here. We got one more vehicle over here to take a look at real quick. This vehicle here, this one looks like a beast.
Yes, sir. This is our newest vehicle in our fleet. This is a 2022 Kenworth 3,000-gallon tanker.
Wow.
This is most of the time whenever there's a call for a fire, this piece is rolling out to it.
Yeah, yeah. Because you always need water.
Absolutely. And using that attack piece, we can fill this thing up in under 2 minutes.
Wow. Wow, that's hard to believe. But now, how long does it take to pump out the gallon? This thing hold? How much does this hold?
So it holds 3,000 gallons,
Okay.
and you can dump the water out of it two separate ways. There's troughs that come out of the back, and you can use that to fill a tank, or you can hook a large diameter hose to it and pump it out. That's not the ideal way because it takes a lot longer. Usually we like to put the big swimming pools in the ground and fill them up.
Right, and then let them suck it out of that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. That's great. Let's go. How about the one thing we haven't talked about is who drives these things and how do we train people to drive fire equipment?
So we drive them. We have to go through EVOC training, emergency vehicle operator course. Depending on the weight of the vehicle will determine the level that you have. You have one which is more along the vehicles like those.
Right.
A level 2 would be more the above 10,000 pounds, your larger scale vehicles, and then when we get to level 3 would be more of these.
Okay. So it takes an extra more training.
Absolutely. They are large. They're heavy. It takes a lot of practice.
Yeah, it takes a long time to stop them.
Absolutely.
Let's take one more quick look across the parking lot here because I see some specialty vehicles over there, and they look different.
Yes, sir. These are typically our brush fighting
Okay.
equipment. So say last year when we had all those brush fires, at 8 o'clock in the morning, we started our day off in that truck in Strasburg.
Okay.
All the way across Front Royal, across the double bridges. We came all the way back, and we ended up in Sperryville, all over the county with both of these vehicles during those brush
This
fires.
looks like four-wheel drive.
So this
or
is
all-wheel drive.
So this is based on the LMTV platform of a Army vehicle. We've converted it into for fire apparatus. So it's all-wheel drive. You can also air the tires down or air them up depending on the terrain to help you traverse wherever you're going.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And what's this here? A brush truck?
Yeah,
What's
this is
that?
a brush truck. This is based on a 1-ton vehicle. It has a small tank on it, some pumps, and it has chainsaws and some other various equipment.
Shovels, rakes, and all the
Shovels,
kind of
rakes,
things you need to.
little backpacks. We use blowers. Leaf blowers are really good for putting out brush fires as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, get rid of the air, right? That's what they do.
Yes.
I seen them. You watch the Cal Fire go out and fight these fires, and it seems like one of the big things they do is picks and shovels. I mean, or shovels and clear things out of the way. More than just putting water on fire. They're getting all the stuff that catches on fire out of the way, away from the houses, out of the forest. I mean, brake lines and all sorts of stuff. How much I know about fires, right?
Yes, sir.
But it's that gives it kind of a picture. We see it on television. But
It's very physically demanding. As Chief said earlier, there's hard to find volunteers for this because it's
Yeah.
a lot of work. It's very gratifying. We do it for our community.
you get guys like me, you got to carry over your shoulder out of the house that passed out, right? I mean,
And we do it happy and willingly.
yeah, well, I know we've used the EMS service, in our personally, and it's always great. Of course, they were from Warren County, but they do come when you call. They're right there, and I think it's just like here in Rappahannock County, Warren County, that Chester Gap. You call, they come.
And every time, no matter what, we're always there.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate everything that you guys have done. You got one more thing here?
Let me talk about this just one
Okay.
on this side
All
of the
right.
tight over there. This thing is this piece is very unique because it is equipped to where you can do high water rescue with it. We carry Stokes.
Oh, yeah, it looks like you can go through about 3 or 4 feet of water.
Yeah, these pull that out. Show them how that. These actually right.
Which one you want?
This stuff. That actually comes out. So if you have a car in the water,
Right.
if you have a car in the water, you can actually drive up to it with that. No, put it back, Chris. Don't take it. Yeah, just leave it latched. Sorry. You have to edit that.
No. This is how the real world works.
There.
Okay.
Now see, when it's pulled out like that, this unit can actually pull right up to a car that's in the water, and they can step from the car right up into the safety of the vehicle.
Right.
And that's the rescue side of it. The fire department side of it, like in bad weather, heavy snow, that we have chains that go all the way around on it if need be, but it goes very well in the snow. It's also equipped with a HMA ultra high pressure pump system. This is like a giant power washer. It actually operates, these trucks operate at max at about 200 PSI. This truck operates at 1,500
Oh my
PSI.
gosh! Yeah.
So
Mark, take a look at this little sign they got on the side of the truck here. You see what that thing says? It says the Beast, and that's what you're talking about. This thing is a beast.
Yep,
isn't it?
that is the beast. So, and like I say, the pump system is something that's very unique. I mean, it's all independent. It's actually designed to work on very little bit of water, which it carries 800 gallons. But we have done training with it on some different fire situations, and we can put out a room and contents fire, and there's no water on the floor because it breaks down the water molecules, spreads them out more. And it actually does very well. So we've been really impressed with it, and that it also has a piercing where you can actually cut a hole in a car with it.
Wow.
Because of the high pressure.
Yeah. Well, they cut plate steel with water jets and things. That's what it is.
That's the same purpose. But it's a very unique piece. It probably does not get used as much as it should, but it is something that if If we have a heavy snow, something that's 30 inches or so, I mean, this piece of equipment can definitely go through that. So,
Well, Chief, I appreciate you sharing all this with us, and we're going to go ahead and end this now, but want to remind people that our fire department, our rescue squad, they're out there working for the citizens of the county, whether it's Warren County, Rappahannock County, Fauquier County, they're all over they're everywhere, and it depends on working between paid staff and our volunteers. It wasn't that long ago that all we had were volunteers, so it's changed a lot, but we want to encourage people to always support our local fire departments. All right, we will see you back, and we're going to get back and talk to the chief after they've had their meeting with Warren County. We'll see how that goes.